Hello guys, good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever be your time zone. As at the time of watching this video, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Olivia. If you just see me for the first time, thank you, welcome. And I'm a Nigerian migrant who lives here in South Africa currently with my family, and I make various content. You will definitely like it here, so please do give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed. Yes, so in today's video I just want to talk about living in South Africa in 2023 as a migrant, the whole truth about living in South Africa in 2023 as a migrant. Yes, I've said it, I'm a migrant. I'm currently from Nigeria, but I've lived here in South Africa for over a decade now, so you can tell I have an idea of what I'm talking about. And without further ado, let's jump right into the video. Yes, so I'll just say that living in South Africa for me, right from the time I came up until now, things have kind of gradually evolved, because naturally in life, the most constant thing in life is change, right? Countries change, people change, everything. Definitely you see change. Okay, I have changed myself living in South Africa and all whatnot. So South Africa has changed, policies have changed, things, the way of doing things have slightly shifted here and there. It's normal, it's general. So in this video, I'm not in any way encouraging anybody to come live in South Africa. Like, if you know, I am not usually an encourager of that. You can watch my other videos, but I just want to talk about my experience and here, and I just want to talk about living in South Africa today for me as a migrant, what I think. Okay, so of course, the first thing, living in South Africa today, like, I don't think anybody can live in South Africa as a migrant today without proper documentation, and I don't think you will have it easy anywhere without proper documentation. So definitely, as a migrant living in South Africa in 2023, you must have some form of permit. At least if you want to be legal, you must have some form of permit, be it study permit as though you're coming to study, of course, work permit if you're coming to work, accompany spouse permit if you probably have a husband or a spouse, be a wife or husband who is living in South Africa. You should have an accompanied spouse or permanent resident permit. Those are the permits that I'm aware of that people like migrants usually have in South Africa. So if you're in South Africa, I just encourage you to definitely get a permit, be properly documented. That's what I think it entails living in South Africa in 2023. Yes, that's the truth. You just have to be documented. Yeah, that's number one. That's number one truth. My truth, what I think is the truth. Okay, so secondly, let's talk about finding a job as a migrant in South Africa in 2023. Of course, we all know that the job market everywhere in the world is saturated. There's global economic warming and all whatnot. So finding a job in South Africa as a migrant in 2023 is not easy. It's never been more difficult now than before. It's like it gets harder, it gets tougher. That's the truth about living in South Africa in 2023 as a migrant. So finding a job in South Africa is not currently easy. If you're a migrant, you probably have what they call critical skills. And another thing I must tell you, that what you think is a critical skill in South Africa this year, like I said, policies change and things evolve every day. It might change tomorrow and it's no longer a critical skill. Like, you can go and research some medical personnel. I think doctors used to be a critical skill, but presently in 2023, doctors are no longer critical skills in 2023 in South Africa. Something might be a critical skill now, next year is no longer critical. It all depends on the needs of the country and where they have less people, where they have a shortfall in their human resources, if I might say so. So yeah, so if you acquire a critical skill, or if you fall under what South Africa terms a critical skill in 2023, it might be not that easy for you to find a job, but it might be a little bit easy. So that's what it entails being a migrant in 2023 in South Africa. That's one thing. And I also want to tell you that finding a job in South Africa in 2023, if any local, like if any South African has that same qualification, of course, just like every other country, the South African national will definitely be considered, yes, the citizen will be considered before you a migrant. So that's what it entails. Number 3 points of being a migrant in South Africa. Generally, this is not just for migrants, okay, but this is just for anybody living in South Africa in 2023. There's economic global warming, there's recession, there's inflation everywhere in the world. So South Africa is not an exception with that. So living in South Africa in 2023 is more way expensive than previous years. I know that should also be the case of America, UK, and everything. Everybody complains, not just South Africa, but I just want to tell you that South Africa is also included. Living in South Africa, be you a citizen, be you a non-citizen, be you a migrant, so living in South Africa, the cost of living is way higher. Yes, because of the inflation. Just have that in mind. It's not easier here, it's not easier anywhere, but yeah, it's not easier here. 4th point is having a bank account in South Africa in 2023. Yes, as a migrant in South Africa, I mean, it was difficult for me to get my first bank account in South Africa back then, years back, and now it's not even easier. Then I didn't have study permit or work permit. I was just having the accompanied spouse permit, so it was very difficult. Most banks did not want the accompanied spouse permit. They wanted either work permit or study permit. So it was when I went to gained admission into UKZ and I now had study permit. That was how I was able to open my first bank account in South Africa. So that standard has not changed, if I know correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, but as a migrant, you must have either a work permit or a study permit or a permanent resident permit before you're allowed to open an account in any bank in South Africa in 2023. Yes, so if you want to have a bank account, just some permits like a company spouse permit will not allow you that as a migrant. So yeah, that's one thing. A lot of people don't know that, but yeah, it's not it won't be easy for you. You must, of course, if you don't have permits, if you're an illegal immigrant, you don't have any permits here in South Africa, you won't be able to open a bank account. Yeah, it shock you. The 5th truth, or another truth living in South Africa as a migrant in 2023, is that you have to learn various cultures. Living in South Africa as a migrant, you have to be exposed to various cultures and various languages. South Africa is a country that has a lot of official languages. Yeah, I think Zulu, Xhosa, English, Afrikaans. I don't know. Tell me all the languages that are official in South Africa if you're a South African here. So yeah, being a migrant in South Africa as a migrant in 2023, you have to learn at least one language, or at least learn some greetings. I had to learn some greetings. Dumela, ahe, lekai, telekai, sambonani, jani, yapila, hey. Okay, so you have to learn those things. I had to learn some of the greetings, some of the hello, hi, some of the some things. I had to learn some things just to fit into the culture, fit into the system. At least you have to be able to greet in the local language, which I enjoy a lot. So another thing, when I start greeting in the local languages, the locals they will start speaking to me, and I'm like, ish, angazi, angazi Zulu, they're like, oh really? Okay, so it's interesting and all that. Living anywhere, not just South Africa now, or anywhere you're living as a migrant, you just have to get integrated into the culture, into the system in 2023. So just know that wherever you migrate to, get integrated. You have to get integrated. South Africa is not an exception. Learn the language, understand the greetings and all that. That's what it entails, living in South Africa as a migrant in 2023. Yes, and that's what I've done, and it's working for me. Okay, and when I do that, a lot of people be like, oh, you look like a Xhosa. Oh, really? You don't understand. Oh, you look like Xhosa. Please, guys, tell me if you're South African here. Do I really look like Xhosa? So yeah, that's what it entails, being a migrant in 2023. Just knowing that in 2023, living as a migrant in South Africa will kind of help you. You should integrate more into the system by understanding the culture, the very rich culture of the Zulus, the Xhosas, the Tswanas, and the greetings and all that. It has helped me, and I just, not just necessarily South Africa, wherever you go to, if you're not an indigenous of that place, you just have to do well to understand the culture, understand if there are different religions, understand the tribes and the do's and don'ts, to help you integrate properly, to help you kind of understand the people. It will help you kind of not feel so off, because being a migrant actually you feel kind of so off. You don't understand a lot of things, but when you try to integrate, you know, try to really love the people, that's where you integrate. And that's what I did. I mean, you see me talk about South Africa because I mean, I'm here. I love South Africans, and I love South Africa. I find a lot of things that I really love about South Africa, and I dwell on those things. Definitely there might be things that I'll be like, I'm not too keen about those things, but those are not the things I dwell in. So living in South Africa in 2023 as a migrant, I try to dwell in the things I love. I try to dwell, like I always say, I love the names, South African names. I try to dwell in the things I love. The culture, I love the weather in South Africa. I love diversity in South Africa. So living in South Africa in 2023, I just have to embrace the culture, embrace the things I love, not be too keen about the things I'm not too keen about. Okay, there are definitely things I'm not keen about, but those are not my focus. I kind of focus on the things I love, focus more on positivity. It will help you bring out the best in you. It will help you kind of get more integrated. It will help you, you know, your journey or your sojourn or your life in South Africa or wherever you find yourself to kind of be smooth. That's what works for me. Yeah, so generally just a short video. I just thought, Olivia, you've lived in South Africa for this long a time. What's your experience, and what do you think living in South Africa in 2023 entails? And that's generally what it entails. Okay, yeah, South Africa is not a cheap place to live in. Housing is becoming more expensive, food is becoming more expensive, and I also think that's what it is also in other part of the world. I hear people talking about the UK. Housing in UK is now very, very expensive, and it is even difficult to find. Okay, so 2023 is generally a tough year for everybody, for everywhere in the world. People are complaining about inflation and everything. So anyway, hope you're enjoying. Tell me if you're a migrant, wherever you are, what do you think about living in South Africa in 2023? So far, so good. We thank God. I still enjoy myself. I still, you know, binge on the positive side, and I don't want to dwell on anything negativity. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not yet subscribed, share this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.